Happy Thursday and 4th of July to everyone. Welcome to live stream. We're starting this live stream today, July 3rd. I host this live stream every Thursday. Let me adjust TikTok screen. Okay. And then thank you so much for joining from TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. If you join from TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, you'll be able to post the comments or the questions, and then I'll be able to answer some of them. For those of you who joined this live from LinkedIn, hey Pedro, our clients, thank you so much for joining. Happy 4th to you. From LinkedIn and Facebook, you may be able to watch live and later, but you're not able to ask any questions. So if you like to engage me during this live stream, try to log in from TikTok and then YouTube and Instagram. So we're about to start. Today's topic is Trump immigration. We have plenty of updates. So in addition to trying to answer your question, let me see, Mark Viewer. Sorry. I have some, topics that I like to cover today. So we're starting. Thank you so much for joining today's live. Okay, just give me 1 second here. I'm just trying to make this comment section bigger. Just give me 1 second here. I'm just getting started. Okay, so we're starting now. So thank you so much for joining this live stream. I'm attorney Jae Francis. I'm a U.S. immigration lawyer based in Chicago and Wisconsin, but serve all 50 states. I host a multi-platform live with TikTok and then YouTube and then Instagram. And then you can also watch this during after live stream from Facebook and LinkedIn. Now, today's topic is Trump immigration. I have some prepared topics I'm gonna go over today, but I have first question from TikTok. So since you asked that question, I'm gonna start with you. So Mrs. Adhikari, I-130 was submitted for your husband back in August 2024. How long does it take for its for approval? Looks like it's a consular process, right? So consular process I-130 takes a minimum 1 year, but more likely between 1 year and 18 months. So sadly, consular process cases take longer. I just talked about spouse visa version of I-130. It takes about between 1 and 18 months. And Pedro, you and then all others who have some question about the K1, K1 right now with 129F takes about 8 months, and then looks like it's gonna take maybe longer than used to be. But having said that, I'm gonna prepare, and then I'm gonna talk about some of the important newer developments. So I'm gonna drink some water, and then I'll get started. Sorry. So one big beautiful bill act, right? That's the name. That's kind of interesting name, isn't it? Passed by the Republican control the Senate and House. House passed today, and then Trump will sign tomorrow, 4th of July. So for those of you who joined this live, happy 4th of July. By the way, the Republicans managed to pass one big beautiful bill act today. So the Trump will sign tomorrow. So it has almost everything like tax cut, social benefit cuts, all this, right? Clean energy cut. There's so many cuts. There's many additional expenditures like defense and all this. But let me talk about immigration. Yeah. So Pedro, you're correct. So then 129F, right? Pedro, we're not talking about the whole thing. 129F with the USCIS will take about 8 months, and then will it be Will it take more than 8 months? Possibility, but I will stay positive. Okay, sorry, I'm just a little bit jumpy here. Nina, what about marriage-based green card? How long does it take? Out of all this gloomy news, that's the good news, because once you submit your marriage green card case, USCIS, a local field office, will schedule for you about 3 to 4 months later. So that's super fast. That's super fast. But circling back to one big, beautiful bill act, it's gonna impact asylum tremendously. So what that means is that when you apply for asylum, it's not free anymore. There's $100 application fee, but while your application, asylum application with the USCIS and then other immigration agency pending, then you need to pay $100 every year. $100 every year. So there's a $100 asylum application fee. Yeah, maybe you may say this is reasonable, but the problem is with work permit EAD. Right now, when you apply for asylum, right, and then you wait 5 months to apply for initial EAD application, via 765. It's a free application, initial one, and then it's valid for 5 years. So you don't need to pay anything for first 5 years. But now, because of this one big beautiful bill act, which will pass tomorrow, you need to pay 550 every 6 months. It means that your work permit will expire in 6 months instead of 5 years. So 550 every 6 months. There's more under this one big beautiful bill act. But I'm gonna circle back to this in either today or the video, the short one, long one, and then also I'm gonna maybe chime in again, but I have other topics. Okay. Let me see. So I have some questions here. Okay, so then Chicago Babe, right? So after interview, there's an online status update. So they're actively reviewing your case. So it's common questions, and I'm working on a new video. What happens after interview? So just watch for it. Okay, it'll be long form, and then I'm gonna talk about that in detail. So your question is this: so after your interview, you need to wait until 120 days for you to start contacting USCIS. So up until 120 days, there's not much you can do. They're reviewing. Maybe they're conducting additional background, or you may have some previous immigration cases like pending asylum and all this. It means that they're reviewing all this. And then under Trump, USCIS, when they conduct AOS interview, they review everything. Like if you have change of status from B2 to F1 via 539, they're gonna review it. If you have a pending asylum case, they're gonna review it as well. I mean, when you go for interview, marriage based, they don't really ask question about asylum, but before they make a final decision on your marriage green card case, they're gonna review asylum case as well. We have seen some cases that after a green card interview, marriage green card interview, USCIS schedule asylum interview as well. So this, asylum and then AOS cases, they tend to go really fast now. So, it's good, but you need to time it correctly. So there's another question here. Yeah, so then Anki Patel, you submitted your marriage-based green card case back in December 2024. You only got work permit. Your case is taking a little bit longer than our cases. All our cases that we file December already scheduled for interview, and they're approved. So, but it's case by case. So maybe they need to review. Maybe you have some complex prior immigration history. So just almost there. Okay. So Usman Jelani, right, asked the question here. Okay. You're asking question a little bit convoluted, but yeah, I think that you're asking how long does it take a marriage green card case now? And then, as I explained, once you submit everything, right? Once you submit everything to USCIS, usually 3 to 4 months later, they will schedule interview for you, right? So that's happening with all AUS cases except some parent cases. They schedule interview for all AUS cases. And then if you have a good case, well documented, accurate, then your case will be approved right away. So we're talking everything's wrapped up, best case scenario, 3 to 4 months after you submit. Now, usually, marriage green card case expected to take about 6 months from the beginning to the end. That's like typical processing time. But anything shorter than 6 months, you'll take it any day. That's like really fast. So thank you so much for asking some of the question here. I'm just reviewing some of the question. Now I'm gonna switch to different topic in a way. Just give me 1 second here. Okay, so I previously explained today about impact of passage. I mean, it hasn't passed yet because the Trump need to sign tomorrow. It will be dramatic. I mean, that's Trump style. And then once he signed one big beautiful bill act tomorrow, then those of you who apply for asylum, you need to pay a lot more than used to be. And then as I explained, so far you didn't have to pay anything, right, for initial filing and then initial work permit, but now it's about to change, so you need to pay. Obviously it's going to take some time for USCIS to implement this new requirement, but because it was passed by the Congress, it'll be very difficult to file a lawsuit to stop it. I mean, possibility, but just be aware. Now okay, Hubath, right? You're asking question about the false claim to U.S. citizenship. That's it's not like suitable for a live stream answer. So you need a pay consultation with me. So I'll talk about how we conduct consultation. So when you call us Monday through Friday, obviously we're not open tomorrow. It's 4th of July. Between 8 to 4 Central Time, then you will talk to our intake manager, Maria. She offers free case evaluation. Outside of this 8 to 4, then you will talk to intake specialists and they will take your information. But if you want to talk to me or my attorney, you need to pay. You need to have a paid consultation. So Hobath, go to my profile, Dr. Jae Francis Immigration, and then find this paid consultation link. And then that's how I'm going to answer your question, because the false claim to U.S. citizenship is really fact-based, right? Factual inquiry, and then not able to go over that with you today during the live. But let me drink some water, okay? Sorry. The second topic that I like to cover, I made various videos, is birthright citizenship. This is the topic that I mean, all of us have some ideas, right? Some of you believe that, for example, like they're saying there's some people that you enter the U.S. without inspection, thus you violated the law, thus your children, don't deserve to get any benefits. That's like one line of thought. Another one is that some people say that even 14th Amendment was really about African American slaves and granting birthright citizenship only to them. There's all kinds of interpretation. Now, I have some ideas about all this legal constitutional implication of birthright citizenship, but I'm immigration attorney. It means that I like to talk about practical impacts. Although I was college professor, I taught American history more than 22 years. This is something that I'm very interested thinking about making video, kind of academic, legal video on 14th Amendment and all this, but that's not what I like to talk. So the Supreme Court, right, ruled June 27 of this year. It's not about birthright, but about banning nationwide injunction. It means that federal court, lower federal court, they're not allowed to impose any nationwide injunction anymore. So that's like a ruling. And then many people say that, well, I mean, that's it. So there's nothing on birthright. But you're partially incorrect, because what happened? This is what happened. So 22 states plus District of Columbia filed a lawsuit against the Trump's executive order. And then, in fact, since you're joining this live stream, I'm gonna just name the states because it's really important. But let me look at another screen. So I'm gonna list them, and then listen whether you're living in these states. Critical, more than ever. Okay, Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, yeah, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Oregon, Rhode Island, Vermont, Washington, and there you go, Wisconsin, and District of Columbia. So 22 states plus District of Columbia filed a lawsuit by the state attorney, right? State attorney against the Trump's, executive order. So what does it matter? Why does it matter? Because according to Supreme Court, which rule, remember, June 27, say that after 30 days of this ruling, which is July 26, coming up soon, is that President Trump's executive order banning birthright citizenship will take effect in 28 states. 28 states. So if you don't live in these 22 states plus District of Columbia, I just explained and listed, some of your children will not be a U.S. citizen. So who are the candidates, right? So before we go into candidates, remember, after July 26, if you deliver a baby outside of 22 states and District of Columbia, and then if you fit it into following category, your child will not be a U.S. citizen. You don't have any documentation. Let me drink some water. So what's the combination? Most important one is the father, right? So if the father is U.S. citizen and permanent resident, right? That's good. That's good, right? But if not, then the issue is that mother, right? So for example, the combination would be the mother is unlawfully present in the United States, out of status, and the father is not U.S. citizen, permanent resident, then child no U.S. citizenship. The mother is here legally, temporarily, like F1, H1B, right? All this non-immigrant visa, and then father is not U.S. citizen, permanent resident, then child is not U.S. citizen. So I can be wrong. So for example, let's talk about some example. Father goes to school F1, wife F2, child no U.S. citizen if you live in 28 states. Okay, so what do? Then in order to compel the government or claim that your child is U.S. citizen, you need to file individual lawsuit individually. Because do you think the state of Texas will sue the Trump and saying that this is unfair, unconstitutional? Not really. If you're in Texas, Florida, red states, you need to file individual lawsuit. And then if you need assistance, let us know. Okay, I mean, it's a brand new area, but we're working to get ready for this. Or you join a class action lawsuit. So that's another possibility. So that's like a long birthright conversation. I have one more, but I'll circle back. Okay. Now, so I'm gonna look at some of the question here. Yeah. So then Chicago Babe, you have a a pending asylum case you file before you apply for marriage green card case, usually that's going to delay your case. It's going to delay your case. Okay. Okay, so then Rocio has a question about DACA renewal. You submitted a renewal application online in April, and then asking for recommendation. I'm not sure what you meant by recommendation, but did you submit your DACA renewal 5 to 6 months prior to 4 to 5 months prior to expiration? That's critical, and then you've been doing it quite some time. But Rocio, if you get married to U.S. citizen, you have another option, and then let us know if you need attorney. INIFI 203, you have a NIW, National Interest Waiver, EB 245 under review. How long does it take? We decided not to process a business immigration, including NIW, anymore. So I'm not expert anymore, so I won't be able to answer your question today. Okay. Okay, so I'm just scrolling some of the questions. Okay, and then FCR asks question, is it okay to go overseas with a green card? So it's a common topic, so I'm going to cover that anyway. So if you are conditional resident, it means that when the USCIS approve your case, you're married less than 2 years. So they gave you 2 years instead of 10 years. Then if you're going overseas with a conditional residency, it can be very challenging this year, especially if you enter the US with a visa and overstay for many years and you got married to US citizen and you got conditional residency. Just be careful. Just be careful. If you have a 10-year green card in contrast, then you may be okay. But if you happen to have some criminal records and then USCIS approve it under Biden, remember, under Biden, right, everything later, toward the end of his presidency, everything went fast, and then they were not really like pay attention to cases. So just be careful. If you have a criminal records and if you go overseas, even though they approve your green card application, doesn't mean that you're gonna have an easy return to the United States. So all people who's going overseas, you need to be careful, especially if you're going with advanced pro. I don't think that it's a good idea to do it this year. Okay, just don't do it. I'm just reviewing some of the question here. Okay, so Lady Ba, so we have some, looks like it's a consular process case, submitted I-130 only back in 2024. It looks like it's a spouse visa case. As I explained, spouse visa 130 usually takes minimum 1 year up to 18 months. Okay, so it's becoming lengthier right now. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. So the Param, right, asked the question, what about the children born before this Supreme Court decision? I don't think the government will go back and then say retroactively, like, we're gonna go after those who became U.S. citizens. So I will tell you this, right? I mean, there's a lot of people when the children were born didn't have legal status, right? Permanent residency, U.S. citizens. So I don't think the government will go after those whose children were born in the U.S., right? Regardless of parents' citizenship, and then they will keep their citizenship. Although, just give me 1 second here. But that's an excellent question here. Okay, so TD boy, can you get married to U.S. citizen if you overstay B2, B1 visa and get a green card? Absolutely, in general, right? So TB boy, if you need, attorney, let us know. But when you enter with a visa, it can be B2 or any other visa except CD1B, CD1D. That's a crew visa, and then it's you need to contact us or attorney if you last entered the U.S. with a C1D crew visa, because it's different. But other than that, in most cases, you will be able to adjust your status to permanent residency when you get married to a U.S. citizen. But that's good question here. Let me see. Yeah, and then Naomi has a very common question. So, USCIS sending, issuing the request for evidence, right? It can be on relationship, it can be on A64. If you submitted your case long time ago, it can be about 693 medical exam. And then once you submit, unfortunately, USCIS doesn't give you any update. I mean, let's say like we review your RFE response and then approve it. They don't do it. So if you haven't received your work permit, then getting work permit is one like a signal that they approve your case. But if not, you need to wait for interview being scheduled. Okay. Okay. Just give me 1 second here. Yes. Jesus Diaz. Okay. Paper. Okay, so then Jesus Diaz looks like you attended marriage green card interview, and then officer give you the result of interview. Probably say they're subject to further review. It's hard to tell, but like I say, you need to wait up to 120 days before you start contacting USCIS about status update. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about the third topic that I prepared, and then I made a video about this. It's a denaturalization. Denaturalization. So, if you're born in the U.S., right? I mean, not subject to birthright citizenship cancellation. Like if you're like born in the U.S. and then there's your parents U.S. citizen, like typical American, then you don't need to worry. But if you're a naturalized U.S. citizen, you're born overseas and then you became naturalized U.S. citizen through the paperwork, then you need to be careful because, June 11, Department of Justice created a memo. There's about 7 priority targets. I mean, one of them was denaturalization. It means that it becomes very high priority. Now, the government is trying to make sure that they protect the integrity of the process, right? Becoming U.S. citizen is really important, right? So not only about birthright, but naturalization. So as you can see, the government is really, really going all front review to put it nicely, or attacks on all kinds of immigration. That's what they do. So circling back to denaturalization. According to the memo, right? Obviously, we'll have more detail. The government will commence a civil lawsuit against you if you're subject to denaturalization. So it's not like knock on the door or send you mail, like just making up a name. Hey, we believe that you lied to us, and then we're gonna cancel or revoke your citizenship. That's not how it's gonna go. You will have a due process. Okay. But the problem is that according to the memo, the government can actually put anyone into denaturalization proceeding. They listed about 10 grounds, but at the end, they say that they reserve right to subject anyone into denaturalization proceeding. I mentioned earlier that I was, a history professor for 22 years. This country used a denaturalization aggressively against the communists during the Cold War. Many communists were denaturalized and deported. And then after 9/11, terrorists were denaturalized. And now it can be anyone under Trump. Now, the problem, right? That may be ground for denaturalization proceeding. It's just applied to at any point. So what I'm trying to tell is that, well, I became U.S. citizen now, so I don't need to worry about this. And boom, you have a DUI or domestic battery. Do I need to worry about this? According to memo, probably you need to be careful because according to one of the ground is that if you have a pending criminal charge at any time, then you can be subject to denaturalization. So it means that even though you became a U.S. citizen through naturalization, you can be subject to denaturalization. So I'm going to continue reviewing this new development. Now, as I sorry, explained, that I wanted to talk about three important developments just happened under Trump, right? So, review, right? I talked about denaturalization, birthright citizenship, and one big, beautiful bill act just passed. Now, you can watch my short form videos, long form. It's going to have a more details, but I will see you next Thursday. We're wrapping up, and then next week I'm gonna circle back to marriage green card case. But until then, I'm gonna wish you happy 4th of July. Thank you so much for joining from TikTok and then YouTube and Instagram. And those of you who watch, from Facebook, LinkedIn, thank you so much. Peace be with you. We'll see you next